before of not actually going live with this, which was not good. Oh, hi Hans, how are you? So today's email, something that is mundane yet essential for everything. So, email, essential part of life. It's basically your identity when you're online. Think of your student mail. That basically gives you access to everything you need as a student in UL. The same with your Skynet one for anything Skynet related. Or your Gmail for Google Drive. You know, list it kind of goes on and on for that. It says, hey, I have an account here. And it's useful for verifying that people work at a company as well. Like, for example, my LinkedIn verified that I worked at Ericsson because of the email address. They sent me an email saying, hey, does this person work at Ericsson? Please click to confirm. And I clicked, and boom. And LinkedIn now verified that I worked at Ericsson. So yeah, it's kind of essential for a pile of life online. So it is very important, and it's one identity you have. People like Morris, he has too many emails. He has lost access to accounts to, wow, I think 3 times he said, because he lost access to the email accounts. I think they were temporary ones, so you have to log in every 6 months or so. But yeah, very important. I do have a talk here that is in the slides that you got linked, and this is a fantastic talk. I linked one of his other ones in the main member chat as well. I think it was the code one, and he's got a couple of them. He is a fantastic speaker, but basically breaks down everything you know about email is probably wrong. And I really recommend taking a look at that. It's an hour long, so just enjoy. And we have, you can go through it in the talk, but there's various ways to prove that an email is valid, because email on its own is open. It is wide open. And why are you not loading up? You were working earlier. Ah, come on. I think I may have messed up that. So we have the DKIM stuff. I know before I used to go through the NixOS stuff at the end, but it's just easier to link it in here. So we have a few things to verify that we are the only ones sending the easy ones. We have SPF, which basically says only trust emails coming from our domain. Everything else you shove into the bin. Very simple, and it works really well. There's other stuff like a domain key, so verifying that. I don't even know what this is basically myself. I know you set it up, it works, it does a kind of encryption based thing, and most of that's beyond me. The other part is DMARC. DMARC is interesting. It basically sends us reports on the emails that pass fail for other mail servers. So, for example, we get them from Google, we get them from Outlook, and they basically just say source IP and host name got one message and it passed everything. This is a very nice tool. I probably should add the link into the slides, but it's, as long as everything's green, things are going well. That's not really descriptive, but all of these kind of important DNS related stuff to verify that emails are correct. seriously, for more information on that, go and watch that video. It is fantastic. Aliases. So, delivering to your mailbox is good and grand. So, I'm Silver. So, you can send me a mail at silver@skynet.ie and I will get it. But what about the service accounts? So we have root@skynet.ie. We have, even just saw it here minutes ago, it was the mailman@skynet.ie. We have a pile of other ones, pile of other service accounts that we need to have people to be able to read them. And we have the config here. So root goes to the admin folks. Abuse goes to admin, accounts goes to committee. You can see which groups that these go to. Most of them are fairly grand. Don't think I've actually had anything in on Hostmaster or DNS admin for ages. Intersocks rep is an owned email account for talking to other societies. There's now a Discord server for that, so that's kind of redundant. And security, we had to get a fair bit in there every now and again from ITD. Basically, if we fuck up something, that's where they're probably going to contact us. And the one of note is this one, Skynet_topdesk@skynet.ie. Could have just gone top desk, but I didn't really want to do that. But basically, two groups have access to it: admins and trainees. And so when we do that, we get this sort of thing. So you can see this is my Skynet account, Skynet.ie, and I have these little folders here of most of the email addresses that you saw up here, and mail comes into them. And how does that work? Well, it's called aliases. So the mail gets sent to everyone who it's aliased to. There is a bit of magic involved in it. Most of it is this configuration here. It's bloody pain in the ass, but it sends it to everyone who's in the admin group and also to an internal one. So if I bring this back up here, you see that there's internal sysadmin or internal comsoc or internal accounts. This basically gives us a long-term store for emails, because otherwise they just go into your account and they essentially vanish from long-term history. Am I moving too fast or too abstract?
No, it's fine.
Hands? Grand. So the aliases are one way that we get mail in. It gets split out to everyone on the group for it, which is quite important because we have multiple people in charge of stuff. There's how many trainees, there's how many admins, there's entire committee, that sort of thing. Everyone has to have access to it. And yeah, aliases, this is a link to it. I may have broken those links. I need to fix that. So everyone in those groups get it, and it's put into a subfolder, which is grand for receiving, but how do you send it? How do I send mail as root@skynet.ie or contact@skynet.ie? Because my account is silver@skynet.ie. And how do I, Silver, pretend to be contact or comsoc? These two get a fair bit of emails in, and it's because in this current time that people are wanting to reclaim their Skynet accounts. So we have to be able to reply back to them in the same email chain. Otherwise, it sends it to your personal one, and nobody wants the mail going to their personal one, because then you become the one responsible for it forevermore. Um, so because they know your address then. They know where your email account is. And that's not good. So yeah, the main client I recommend and the one I have here is Thunderbird. It's quite good. It works on Linux and Windows, and it's a Mozilla one. So, I think it's open source. Yeah, it should be. But Mozilla do Firefox, they do Thunderbird, and they are supposed to be doing a mobile Thunderbird as well, but that's not at the current time. You can use K9 for that. So instructions to set up the aliases is this section here. So you sign into your Skynet account on Thunderbird, like I have here. It's normally pretty simple. You click on the one, you set up another email account, you put in your email address here and password. Takes a minute or two, fairly simple. So I will go server at .ie and I'll put in my password and boom, I'm in. It used to be a bit more difficult, but gotta love technology. It's easy to make those things seamless for all users. I think what caused the errors before was not having certificates set up properly. Certificates are bloody pain in the ass sometimes, but they are really important. Anyway, so oh, I got personal mail. Oh, it's fucking LinkedIn. LinkedIn sends so many mails. So you sign into your account. Keep forgetting it. Select settings. So settings are bottom left here. And then you go to account settings. And account settings brings up. Wait, no, not that. So account settings brings up this sort of thing. And I need to look at the Skynet one. So I'm Brendan Gonham, my email address is skynet@skynet.ie, and that's on Grant. And then you need to manage identities, and these are all the identities that I have. I am Brendan Gordon at server at Skynet.ie. I'm root, accounts, sysadmin, contact, Skynet top desk. This is the kind of important one at the current time, especially for you, Eliza. So boom, 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 pictures attached. You may need to zoom out if you're on 1080p in the future if you want to see this yourself. Then all you have to do is just add an identity, and it's username, email address, and okay. You can do fancier stuff, as you can see here. You can have like a signature text, but most of the time you don't actually need that. And yeah, this is a real no. So once you've got your identity set up and close, you can go back to server, and you see any of these coming in. For example, the comsoc. So see here, this is to comsoc at Skynet.ie. This is the public GitLab one. Ignore that it failed. It's supposed to fail. I just haven't figured out how to disable pipelines on the public one, but keep them active on the our own one. But if I go here, I can reply. Yeah, reply anyway. And you can see it's from Brendan Gorman, Comsoc it's gonna do, because it realizes the email came into Comsoc, so if you've got an identity that matches it, it will go out with that. And so I could technically reply to GitLab, which is a no reply one, and it would be, I'd be replying as Comsoc. Or if I choose, I could do it as any of these other ones here. I could reply as accounts to confuse everyone, because why would accounts be replying to a mail to what's it, to contact? Comsock.
Quick question, what's the software you're using at the moment that's showing all this stuff?
Thunderbird. Links in the description, and I did mention it a few slides back. It's the one that Mozilla has, and it's free. It does not yet do the Microsoft ones, but they actually did announce in a blog post recently. Oh, Supernova. Oh, that's the version. So it's no, they blog. They actually announced recently that no, not the Android one, that they are going to be having Rust in their one recently enough, so that they can actually I think this is January one. Yeah, they plan to have Rust to be able to have Exchange support, which is Microsoft. So technically, in the future, we could have our student mail. We'll probably graduate by then, though. In Thunderbird for some reason. I would not want that myself, but you get the general idea. So yeah, I think that I've gone through everything I kind of wanted to hear. The core thing behind it is that you would be able to send mail to the Skynet help desk. And that's the core part of it for this, because we are able to submit tickets via that now, and it works wonderfully. I tested it out last week, and oh wait, where's the messages in there? Oh, be right back. That's all. So I'm gonna go through the next file unless there's any objections or questions more. That's fine. Grand. So let me scroll down a tad. The core part of it is the mail server section here, which is currently line 416 on, and it's basically just enabling the mail server for us. We use Nix OS mail server, which is quite good. We actually have our own version of it with a few minor tweaks compared to what's upstream. Unfortunately, they're not too active at fulfilling tickets and whatnot, so we can't really use the upstream one for LDAP, at least not nicely. Other stuff is the mail.skynet.e, so .e. This is also configured in file. Roundcube is a web email client, quite good. It means you don't actually need to have a client installed for stuff like that. There's the DNS records. We've talked about a few of them earlier. Some server records, because why not? I think these are the ones that make it a lot easier to just log into Thunderbird and it just works. I think it was Easy that did these. Dara? Yeah, Dara. Aside from that, it's just the basic ones of Mail, IMAP, POP3, and STMP. Yeah, there's not too much in that section. We are supposed to have backups. I've broken backups, and fortunately need to fix that. Part of the goal would be to be backing up certain email directories, such as the root ones, any of the service accounts that we have. They should be backed up. but again, I broke that a while ago, so I need to fix that. There's undapp stuff. Oh, these are just the options. You know how to read the options, right? You do? Grand. Oh yes, config file. So this here, 94 to 118, is called a sieve. It's how you can actually filter emails in anything that is not Google or Microsoft. It uses its own language, and this is what puts the ones for the service accounts into the subfolders. Works quite well. Could be better, but this we do have to enable Sieve for the general users, because that will allow them to have their own scripts and whatnot for their own logic. For example, if I go back to my own client, you can see in my one, I have a pile of subfolders. Yep, and Mayon goes into these based on my scripts for that. So really useful for people to have if they want to have an organized inbox. There's the service mailboxes I was telling you about, and a pile of small functions here to make them actually work, to map them out into the format that I think it's Dovecot uses, which is the program at the core of it that uses the configuration for it. And I think I'm kind of at the end of that. Any questions? Oh, and another thing is, see this array here? Create filter array, and it's mapping groups to it. This is what allows, where it's used, is what allows all email to I'm muting you for a second until you stop shouting. Basically, the way the email is set up is that if you have a Skynet account, it's going to receive email. You may not be able to log into it unless you're an active member. And this saves us a fair bit of hassle by just being able to not discard mail. There has been one slight issue related to that, is that, remember how I talked about aliases before? Turns out that previously there were a lot more aliases, a lot more, and they were also given to everyone basically. Anyone who wanted an alias could have one. Some of them were rude as fuck. I was going through the config file I had found 2 weeks ago now, and my god, I'm not putting any of that in a modern config. But other ones were first name, last name at Skynet. So you know how the UL email is that if you're undergrad, you have a number at student mail, and if you are above that, so if you're actually working as a TA or whatnot, you get first name dot last name at un.ie. Well, that same thing was done for members, which is not something I had originally planned for, but we're gonna have to figure out how to exactly work out. Um, so I will be Brendan.Golden at Skynet.ie. Um, we may allow that again in the future. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. Any other questions?
No, I looked and I think Vivaldi supports Alice's. I'm not sure, we'll have to check.
Oh, that could be quite neat. Um, if they do, would you be able to do up a small tutorial on how to set them up and whatnot? Kind of like what I did in the slides here for um, Thunderbird. Doesn't have to be exactly that. Just yeah,
Yeah, sure.
like if you can actually get it working. It's more just a case of documenting to make things easier for the people following on after us. Because that's how you make sure information and knowledge is not lost. Right. I'm gonna end the broadcast.